So you're very precariously balanced on the cereal box. But portion one of breakfast, 3 scoops of, I mean, really any kind of fucking cereal. I kind of go through a few. I've been doing mostly the oatmeal, but I kind of wanted to just change it up this morning. But I mean, the morning meal is always going to look reasonably similar. About 150 or so grams of carbs, as many grams of fat as just necessary with whatever I'm eating, and then 50 grams of protein. So this puts me at 150 grams of carbs, including the calories and the carbs from the 3 cups of milk, which isn't something to neglect, man. 3 cups of milk has like 36 grams of carbs. But 150 carbs, 23 of fat, 24 protein, all immediately tracked. Yeah, it's not going to focus, but right there. So this will be portion one plus 2 liters of water with some electrolytes. And then once I finish this, I'll get up and make a couple of eggs. Because 24 grams of protein, I mean, it's not nothing, but for me to hit 250, that would mean I've got to eat 10 meals. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to eat that little meal by meal. So I'll probably add, I'm trying to, that'd be like 5 eggs, but cereal first. So let's cut to the egg cooking after this is gone. These guys always need to be locked up whenever we're eating because they don't take the food right off your plate. You got anything to say about that? Yeah, I guess not. I would be lying if I didn't tell you that right after I had that bowl of cereal and I laid down on the couch, I took like a 45-minute nap. So I guess this is breakfast part two. So now 2 bagels. Usually I'd go kind of crazy with the cream cheese, like not a full block at once, that'd be nuts. You know, nothing crazy, but like quarter block per bagel. You know, just so I don't know how many grams of fat that is, but instead I threw some just like some 100% grass-fed salted butter on each of these, just so it's not so heavy. Because after this, I'm going to do cardio. So 2 bagels, 100 grams of carbs net, just about 30 grams of fats from the butter, and then 6 whole eggs. And here's one little tip that I actually really, well, I guess I don't, it's not a game changer when you have it. But when I don't have it, it kind of sucks. Because if you ever cook eggs, at least like scrambled with the yolks and everything else, it kind of gets a little bit of a dryness to it, you know? Whereas if you sprinkle on some kind of cheese of your liking right at the end of when you're cooking it, it pretty much stays moist the whole time. And that's really what I'm aiming for. The last thing I want to do is be sitting here scooping in a bowl of eggs and then just get kind of off put by them, you know? Like ease of consumption is a very high variable on my bar of what I'm looking for with whatever kind of meals I'm eating. Because if I can't actually just sit here and get it down reasonably quick, like if it becomes a chore to really eat a certain kind of meal, then I'm probably not going to want to do it, you know, because then it's going to take extra time. The longer each meal takes, the less time you have during your regular day doing your whatever kind of shit. So when it comes to bulking up, like obviously your food choices are going to be pretty important, but and by food choices I mean like types of carbs and macros and how it's going to affect your like your blood sugar and like how it actually even reacts with your stomach. Like if dairy completely blows you up on the inside, yeah, maybe you don't have 3 cups of milk with a bowl of cereal, you know. But as long as you can get in the amount of calories that you're aiming for throughout the day, which is enough to actually satisfy the goals that you're aiming for weight wise, then dude, you're fucking fine, right? But you got to take into account the fact that eating certain fucking kinds of trash food, it's got a like not even the fact that it's just bad for you. It does have a time limit of how long that's going to work. I mean, I've done it before. I've done bulks much nastier than well, you get what I'm saying. But I've got like 3 months of solid, you know, weight gain, and then after that, it's like I can't put on any more fucking size, and I can almost guarantee my whole system's extra stressed out. I've been eating like hundreds of grams of sugars at a time, and having everything spread out evenly throughout the day, more kind of complex, legitimate carbs, not just all sweets, things like that are what you should be aiming for. And then as you'll notice, the carbs are gonna fucking vary today. I mean, fucking, this isn't too crazy. I mean, fucking, I'm just bombing the F word, but you know, cereal, bagels, everything else throughout the day. I mean, there's gonna be rice, there's gonna be potatoes. I'm not, I'm not gonna worry if I have like 4 Reese's cups later, you know. But on the protein side of things, That's where I'm trying not to skimp. That's where it's going to be steaks, eggs, dairy products, fish. You know, we've got a bunch of tilapia in the freezer. Like on the protein side of things, that's where I don't want to skimp. Because if you look it up, there's like the protein grading scale. I'm going to try to remember and put it like right here on this side of the screen. You know, way up here, that's where you're going to see your fucking A students: beef, chicken, eggs, milk, dairy, whey protein isolate. And as you work your way down, probably right around here, you're going to see like soy protein, wheat protein, like rice protein. There's a reason why it's extra low on the scale. So I wouldn't want to maximize my protein intake with things like that. Like these bagels each said they had 2 grams of protein in them each. I'm not going to count that. Like, yeah, it definitely is calories, but in a bulking context, it's just non-dedicated protein sources do not really concern me. Now, it'd be a little bit different if these were um, like fiber kind of bagels. If you ever seen those, like keto bread, because those are going to have like a crazy amount more proteins in them, just because of the way they separate out all the carbs and the fibers and whatnot. That'd be something to look for. But if you look at a packet of instant rice or something, 3 grams of protein, and you're trying to bulk up, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd rather count that 3 grams of protein from the ground beef I'm going to have later than from like some random incomplete kind of amino acid array like that. But I'm going to sit here for a minute and then drive over to cardio. I'm not going to, we don't need 2 car talks in one day to cardio and then to the leg day. So I'll just see you back here. There we go. Totally forgot to fucking edit the video yesterday. So this is the that'd be the arm day I just finished with. I'm camped out in front of the computer with half a pound of ground beef, and then to counteract the dryness effect of certain kind of foods like this, I just fucking douse the thing in sugar-free ketchup, and then 1 slice of American cheese, kind of you know, all mixed in, and then that's paired with, you guessed it, you guessed it, 1 pack of ramen, not with the entire kind of salt pack, just because I've had so many electrolytes so far with all the water tubs. I mean, I'm pretty much fully stocked with sodium and magnesium and everything else that I'm not really concerned hydration wise there. But anybody that gets too freaked out, like, oh, there's so much sodium in that. It's like, oh, you're gonna hold a lot of water. It's like, well, not necessarily. You know, if you that's more so of an issue for somebody who drinks 0 water all day and then has like a massive like salty dinner, and they're not really used to having a really like kind of controlled influx and output of their fluids. So if somebody drinks 8 ounces of water a day, I'd be pretty concerned with their sodium intake. But if you're actually drinking liters, like I'm not going to say you need to drink a gallon a day, but if you're in the 2, 3 liter mark, like on a consistent basis, I wouldn't freak out about not getting your or about getting too much salt in. If anything, I'd be a little bit more concerned that you might not be getting enough electrolyte intake, just because it's kind of easy to overlook. So that's going to play a big role in your hydration, and then 2 steps down the line will play a pretty serious role in just how pumped you're going to be. And anything that's going to affect the pump is something you need to be looking at and trying to optimize such that you'll have as much fucking blood flow and sort of a, well, what other word to say than pumpage after the lift. But I'm gonna finish this, get this uploaded, and we can cut to the car and drive over there for legs. So off we go with a full belly and oh crap! How many grams of carbs have I eaten so far today? Do a quick little macro check without spilling it. There we go. 374 grams of carbs so far for the day. So, honestly, not that insane. I kind of thought I'd be a little bit deeper, but that's more than enough for me to actually be able to feel full, carved up, very ready to lift. And honestly, I don't even need that much. Even if I had like if I was in a little bit more of a pinch or something, like if I was busier today with some kind of whatever, and I only got like 150 in, even just 150 in like a big breakfast, and then had to lift like, like 2, 3 hours later, that'd be all right. But on an empty stomach, That's where I'm going to draw the line, because it just, I'm not so sure I see the appeal. Now, of course, there could be a situation which you don't have a choice in, and you only have the morning to go work out. But if you can do anything to improve a like drastic AM lift, then I would say it's this. You have got to get some calories into your system pronto. Or potentially just make sure you have a reasonably solid amount of food in you from the day before, having like a big dinner or so. That can kind of do the same sort of thing. But just on a purely empty stomach, I mean, it's not so far off from just basic logic. If you don't have any fuel in the system, then what are you going to run on? You know? So I can say with certainty the lifts that I've done where meals were not so prevalent beforehand, like the ones where I got to go in at like 6 before a full day or whatever, yeah, no fun, right? But if you have to, just try to eat something simple. You know, I'm talking potentially some faster digesting carbs. Maybe not just a 50, like a handheld bag of Skittles right in the morning. You're really just asking to completely blow your like your blood sugar fluctuations out of the water back and forth all day by doing that. But you know, something kind of just not too heavy, right? Light, little thing of oatmeal, potentially some like some cream of wheat. I really like throw some blueberries in there. Just something in the system. And some guys are a little bit more protective of their pre-workout time, in the sense that they're going to say you do not need to eat anything 2 hours before you work out. It's actually going to take away from your workout, because you know, digestion is not a passive process. Yeah, it actually does take energy to kind of force food through your gullet and all sorts of, I mean, all those tubes in your stomach, that's muscle. It's kind of squeezing toothpaste through itself, if you think about it. So the logic there is, well, you shouldn't eat anything right before you train, because you're going to be taking away energy from, you know, your whole body. And I'd kind of agree with that. You know, maybe not so much because I feel like the act of digesting my food is like tiring me out, but just because like an hour, well, I can do an hour. Actually, I just fucking like did. Well, more like an hour and a half. But an hour with a reasonably sized meal before, I can do that pretty well. But 30 minutes, if it was a big meal, dude, no chance. Now this yawn actually has some exclamation behind it. I haven't drank the pre-workout yet. Legs ends up being one of the longer lifts for me, not because I do like much more volume than any other body part, but it just takes more to recover between sets. Like I'm gonna sit between sets of tricep pushdowns for like a minute, you know, 2 minutes, something like, actually closer to 2 minutes, but like not long. Something like shoulders, if I'm doing side laterals, I mean, I kind of sort of, just because my shoulders are a bit ahead, so I don't really like destroy them too hard, but I'll do like 45 seconds. Now quads, these rest periods are probably getting into like the 4-5 minute range, depending on the set. You know, I'm not going to do 5 minutes between a set of leg extensions, but on some of these leg presses or like heavy squats, Smith machine squats, things like that, that's a really big oxygen load that you just gave yourself, because your quads, as well as all the supplementary, like your glutes are coming into play, your hamstrings are working, your adductors, doing something really quad based and hard for your legs, that's going to be a pretty big demand. So it's going to take a minute to catch your breath, reoxygenate yourself, get your blood, get your heart rate back to at least the workout baseline. I didn't bring my little, I got like an Apple Watch, just kind of curious about like tracking my heart rate and stuff. I guess it wasn't that interesting. I'm not going to really using it. But when I'm walking around during the daytime, I've got my regular heart rate. When I'm sleeping, I got my lower heart rate. When I'm working out, during a set, it's going to be very elevated, but then it's going to get back down to baseline, like like 110 or something, just because you're being physically active. But once you've gotten back to that sort of baseline state, if you want like an actual numerical answer, that's when I think you're about ready to do another set. So, all that to say, since I'm doing hamstrings first, and then quads. Hamstrings, I'm not a fucking stim head for hamstrings. I don't need a crazy amount of caffeination to do some hamstring curls, lighter, squeezing, really burning. For quads, I would not be so, you're not going to see me doing a stim-free quad day, at least not anytime soon. So I'm usually going to be the guy to say, drink your pre-workout 20 minutes before you even walk into the gym. But on legs, since I'm going to finish all of hamstrings first and then move on to quads, and since I want to be, primarily kind of caffeinated for the quad portion, I'm going to drink it sort of right when I walk in, which usually I wouldn't recommend, because it's not really going to be kind of fully saturated and hitting you for another 20, even 25 fucking minutes. Because it's not just like magic, I got pre in my system, now I'm ready. It takes a while to fucking dissolve and absorb and get spread around. So if you're doing like a one muscle group or kind of a shorter lift, timing your pre-workout is something I would look into. Maybe try and drink it before you get in the car, then drive to the gym. See how you feel. Now, I don't really get too jittery from the caffeine, but beta-alanine ends up being a good little indicator of just how long it takes before things start to sort of take an effect, because that's something you're not going to be able to ignore. So by the time I'm like halfway done with hamstrings or so, my cheeks should be tingling a little bit. That's my cue, like, all right, we got some absorption going on here. And then once hamstrings are done, I'll have a little kind of like an energy boost in a sense with the caffeine for the quad portion. So let's just stop talking about it and make it happen. All right. Heavy, not too heavy though. It may look like the sack, but it's actually one notch less. And it's supposed to be kind of a real moderate tempo set. It's a failure, of course. Okay. One more. Same weight and a little bit faster. Let's change it up. A little lighter for this next one. So, the gimmick of this set, much lighter. I mean, 190 to, so not half, but less than, I don't know. The equivalent weight for a single leg will be like 75%, but 5 reps on the right side, big squeeze, good stretch, normal tempo. Then do 5 on the left, 5 on the right, 5 on the left, back and forth. Now when I'm fresh, I want these reps to look good. But as the set progresses and I get more fatigued, I don't mind if they turn into nasty partial reps. That's actually what I'm aiming for, because that's my cue that I really can't do anymore. But at the beginning, I want to be nice and controlled. Yeah. 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 Oh. 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 Oh my gosh. Oh. This. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my god. Okay, that's good. Oh my gosh. Let's double the weight. Next set's gonna be a single leg one. Or no. Next set, which I think will be the last set, is gonna be double leg. Same style as this, but I think I'll be able to burn out a little bit harder doing it both at once. But let's take a second. Almost time for squats.
Thanks, appreciate it. How's it?
Okay. Oh my gosh. Failure gets more and more abrupt towards the end of fucking hams. Eesh. But they're cooked. Let's go camp out on the leg extension, get warmed up, and then the real tricky part can begin. No. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's do some leg press. Jump. 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 One more.
push, 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 push.
Oh, oh. Thank you. Wow. Oh my God, damn. Oh. A few more just like that.
You got it, man.
Yeah, pull them. Okay.
Good shit, man.
Thank you. Oh. Let's switch leg presses. God damn. All right. My quads are reasonably fucking thrashed from those plate leg press. Let's just burn out some machine sets. And this machine definitely has a fucking strength curve to it. That leg press, apart from like the natural strength output that your legs give you when you're pressing, like obviously a squat is easier when your legs are almost straight. But this machine physically, if I were to put a scale on my feet, is much heavier at the bottom. Like getting it even started is actually kind of a fucking problem. So that's where failure might be a little more abrupt. Like I don't know where I might hit a rep where I just can't get it out of the hole. But I'm all right with that. So let's do a few here. Finish off with squeezing leg extensions, totally pump them out. And then I think that'll be it for quads. Okay. Way too fucking heavy. And also I gotta make small adjustments. There we go. See how this feels. Yeah, that's better. Okay. No. I think I gotta fucking just move on. This machine's gotta get oiled up. No pun intended either. Oh, damn. All right, I lied. I tried to do another set of a different machine leg press. Dude, I'm still not used to those really deep, full stretch reps. They're really hitting me hard. That's a good thing. So instead of trying to force one more of those out, let's do a light squeezing set of leg extensions, get quads fully pumped, and then go get some more fucking chow in my system. There we go. All right. Legs complete. Quads wrecked. Reasonably pumped, but not so much as normal. Yeah, that fucking second set of machine leg press really got to me. The belt was kind of like coming off, so it sort of threw me out of my groove. It's like if you I don't know what it's like. It's like if you're trying to do fucking squats through like jelly or super glue. But apart from that, everything is pretty fucking golden. Plus some pretty solid leg curl variability. So let's back off into the light and see how we're looking. Reasonably wide. I'm actually getting a pretty good amount of fucking roundness on my kind of my mid quads here. It's actually kind of trickier to fucking see quad gains like week by week, especially when I'm bulking up, because not only when your legs are pumped, they kind of get a like fluffiness to them, because all the separation pretty much disappears since it's so inflated with blood. It's like every little cut and feathering just kind of fades out. And then when you add body fat on top of it, not so crazy. But I know for a fact with all this extra pressing, once we start peeling down in springtime, there's going to be some damn trunks to see. There we go. This is like 4 just kind of standard yellow potatoes. Let's wait for this guy to get to 375. And in 45 minutes, I'm going to have some perfect fucking perfect carbs. There we go. We're getting close to the end game here, fellas. Let's do a little macro check and actually see where we're at. Oh shit! You know what? Whoops. One more thing. I'd actually be fucking lying to you if I didn't bring this guy out. I don't know if I'd necessarily count this as a meal, but this is something which well, the sooner you can learn it, the better. Your calories are gonna fucking add up throughout the day. Even if, like, let's say somebody was dieting, and you know, they might just, we've all been there. You might just take a quick little gander into the pantry. I'll just have 3 Pringles. You know, it's nothing. I'll just have a couple of chips. You know, I'll just have a couple of croutons. You know, there's nothing in there. You do that 5-6 times, dude. You just had 500 calories. And depending on how steep somebody's like intended diet could be, you know, a 500 calorie change in the opposite direction, that will totally fucking screw you over. But in the case of today, this whole little ultra pasteurized, naturally flavored, very berry, promised land strawberry milk disappeared. Somehow it was full in the morning, now it's empty. So 7 servings, each containing 10 grams of fats and 32 grams of carbs, as well as 9 grams of protein, somehow made its way from the inside of this container into my belly. Now, do I think I'm gonna fucking explode? No, not exactly. It would depend if you're like lactose intolerant, which I'm sure everyone is to a degree. Honestly, I should probably try to find some kind of like lactose-free strawberry milk and see if it'll have any kind of different effect on me. Like, not that this really messes with me, but you know, anybody that's drank a ton of milk, especially if they were sensitive, that could totally well, we don't have to get there while we're eating. But that adds up to, yeah, man, fuck, damn near 2,000 calories. So 1750, that's a big ass chunk. And it's very easy to get fucking down. So let's see a pretty nuts amount of sugar intake, but not so much that I think I'm totally, you know, boned. I mean, it was kind of a 50-50-ish so far of reasonable, lower glycemic index kind of or glycemic, oh man, what's the word? I guess glycemic index kind of carbs, plus, you know, some kind of sweets, some simpler foods like that. But I mean, that's kind of just a balance for you to decide. You know, when if I'm making a full day of eating kind of video, this is not a full day of eating tutorial, right? This is merely kind of a glimpse into the things that I'm doing so I can get my 5,000 calories down, you know, my near like 700 grams of carbs, 120 of fats, 250 of protein from whatever sources. Now, like I said earlier, all the protein's coming from legit source, right? Dairy, solid. Beefs, solid. Eggs in the morning, solid. Right? I mean, that's honestly kind of the fucking trifecta of protein. Milk, eggs, and steak. So, I mean, this combo here, the steak and potatoes, I may as well be eating an Uncrustables peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Which now that we bring that up, I should probably stock the freezer with some of those because that's an easy 200 calories right there per. So it's look, would it be better? Would it potentially be better gains wise for me to do like meal prepped rice, chicken, steak, broccoli, 8 meals a day? I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll lock in to the point of trying that eventually, but to an extent, you can't beat the fact that the calories in certain foods that's not going to change. If you're eating a 500 calorie bowl of rice, chicken cutlet with like kind of a teriyaki sort of mayonnaise sauce, like something plus like a bunch of like shredded lettuce, something you would look at and say, oh, that's actually pretty healthy, man. I'll get the healthy option. I'll get the chicken rice bowl. That's got the same fucking calories as that Wendy's spicy chicken. It's like what are we doing at this point? If you're to look at a like a bowl of X grams of rice, X grams of like olive oils or like butters, and then however much steak or something, energy wise, caloric energy wise, it's the same as something of an equivalent value. So the only problem for me, which I've kind of found, is if I eat, well, really kind of too much too fast, then that kind of overloads my system. Like I'll get to, and it's kind of crazy how I've done this like multiple times in a row, knowing what I actually should have done, but still doing it just because it made sense in my mind. But, reverse 2 years, reverse 2.5 years, almost 3 years, when I started really trying to bulk up. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I want to start a bulking phase. All right, let's eat 5,000 calories every day. Boom, off the rip. So that's like going from 3,000 calories to immediately 5,000 and then just keeping it there indefinitely. Now, 2.5 months go by. Holy shit, man. Because I'm tracking my weight. I plug it into my, like a Google Sheets on the, like daily. I can see it kind of graphed as a plot. Dude, it just fucking blows up. But then after 2.5 months of eating that much, plus, the fact that it's like bagels with a bunch of cream cheese and like sweets and everything else, it just stressed out my whole fucking system to the point where, like, not that I like felt bad or anything, I still felt normal, like bulked, but eating any more or trying to eat in excess so that I could continue that weight gain projection or weight gain, but like projection, it just wouldn't happen. So then I'm sitting there for 2 months at the same weight, not growing at all, just maintaining because I can't push myself to the caloric intake of actually gaining weight. And then I just wasted like 2.5 months of bulking for no reason. As soon as I hit a plateau for beyond like 3 weeks, if I can't somehow get around it, then that's my cue that this bulk is over. I better start dieting down, reset, start from scratch. But as of late, aka the last two bulks, the primary change, well, this one, the food intake's a little bit cleaner as well. More oatmeal, more cream of wheat, more like legit carb sources. But one thing that's been consistent over this bulk and the last one was I've been eating slowly and increasing my calorie intake over time. So this bulking phase is going to be like 6 months long. That's I forget, when did I start it? Was that in July? July. It's almost been 2.5 months. Yeah, like beginning of July or so. So going from then to probably Christmas time ish, maybe just late November, like 6 months. Month one, eat when I'm hungry. Month one, it's like, okay, I just came off of like 2,500, 3,000 calories from my dieting phase. It's probably not going to do me any good to put myself in a 2,000 calorie jump from that to 5,000 every day. That just doesn't make any fucking sense. Because what's going to happen is that's going to take me out of the fucking green zone. There's a sweet spot when it comes to your calorie intake, given whatever your metabolism is at that current moment. So if I just did 2 months of dieting, my metabolism has slowed down. The amount of calories it takes for me to just stay alive every day has now decreased, which in a kind of evolutionary standpoint would fucking make sense. If food gets scarce, you don't want to be burning off tons of excess energy. You want to kind of slow yourself down, cool your engines, drop your RPM. But when you start bulking from a phase of dieting or even just maintaining, there's no need to just jumpstart to fucking as much food as you can eat every day. Now, depending on what your appetite is, that could be the case. If somebody has a really like low appetite, that's usually the case of the hard gainer, then yeah, for them it might feel like force feeding to eat 2,500 calories. And I'm not joking when I say that. I mean, some guys it's just not they just don't have that in them to just keep fucking eating. They just feel so full so quickly, which I mean really sucks. But it is just kind of that's just one side of the coin. On the other side, that guy gets to be pretty lean year round with no effort. So it's always kind of a give and take, but you don't get to choose your dice there. But what I was kind of looping back around to was, sure, I want to eat in a surplus, but if I eat too much, then what am I doing? I'm just wasting that energy. If I were to eat 10,000 calories tomorrow, guess what? However many thousand calories of those I can actually use for, muscle recovery and building, anything above that, what does your body do with stored energy? Dude, instant. Love handles, glutes, legs, lower back. I'm just putting on fat. I'm not trying to bulk body fat here. We're trying to bulk lean, contractile tissue. So if you can kind of imagine a little bit of a gauge here, right? If I were to eat, okay, well, it's month one. I just finished eating 3,000 calories a day for the last 2 months. Let's just try to keep it around 3,500, right? A moderate surplus. But what's going to happen is after, however long, usually I kind of judge it month by month, but it could even be just a few weeks. That's going to be my new baseline. I will now have gained like 5, 10 pounds of weight, whatever. Now my body's burning that 3,500 calories off every day. I'm no longer gaining weight. So each month, in kind of a basic term, I got to up the ante. I got to increase the amount of food that I'm eating. And if I don't, then, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even if I was eating 3,500 calories of chicken, rice, and broccoli, and, my Brussels sprouts and everything else, not going to be gaining muscle. At least not in a particularly fast fashion. Because I'm not eating enough food to fucking fuel it. It's simple supply and demand. Right? My body's kind of demanding, like, oh, shit, man, well... Actually, I was about to say something kind of smart, but I totally lost my understanding of how that was going to go. But you get the gist. If I don't give my body enough fuel, it's just going to run off enough to stay the same size, and I'm going to be walking around the same 260 pounder I was yesterday. But that's not the point here. So what I'm getting at is beyond the importance of food selection, I believe is just fucking food intake. You're not going to grow if you don't eat enough. And that's something which I would put a rather large wager on, right? Let's see somebody legitimately say, Sam, you can gain 2 pounds a month, main gaining. I've tried it indefinitely for the rest of your life. Now, I don't think anybody would make a claim so crazy as that, but, let's just cover all bases here. So, in the context of actually trying to gain weight, dude, have some treats, right? Drink something that's going to let you fucking, like a thing of chocolate milk or whatever, or a protein shake with like some Reese's Cups blended into it, or like fucking go to McDonald's. Now, I do not mean that on the regular. If you constantly eat complete shit foods for the majority of your diet, then yeah, that's going to screw your system. Your metabolism is going to get fucking weird, and your gut biome. Like, this isn't something you might wake up and like immediately feel, but it is going to reflect in your training. But I think I'm on I feel like I'm on a 60-40, maybe more like a 70-30 kind of split in terms of my calorie intake. Not from the protein side of things, but the carbs and fats. It's like 70%-ish over the last kind of month or so. Legit. Proteins, or no, what am I saying? Potatoes, rice. I think the ramen's legit. It's kind of processed, but still rice. Tons of oatmeal, the cream of wheat, everything else. And then that other 30%, yeah, I'm going to have a fucking bag of fruit snacks. I'm going to have 100 grams of simple carbs post-workout, spike my insulin, get some, anabolic response. So somebody was asking me today, it's like, all right, I want to start bulking up. Should I do the clean bulk, or should I kind of do a crazy dirty bulk? And it's like, do the bulk that lets you gain weight. If sitting in front of just a baked potato with some sour cream and then a half pound of ground beef 7 times a day is your thing, like you can really eat that quick, you have no problem, you never get sick of it, I'm jealous. That's fucking sweet. right? Keep going. You're gaining muscle. That's perfect. I have nothing to say. If you're legitimately gaining muscle, then what are you looking for me for? Right? You obviously know what you're doing. But the issue is like, if you're not eating enough, then what are you gonna do? So that's where it's talking about that little green zone is something which I'm kind of a pretty strong fucking proponent of. So as long as the amount of calories that you're eating is within this green zone of like, okay, I'm eating in a surplus. I'm eating like more food than my body needs, so that means it's gonna have excess energy to over what's the word there? Over overcompensate muscularly, right? AKA fucking hypertrophy, getting bigger, what we're all here for. Plus, putting on a little bit of body fat. It's just the nature of things. Can't really be avoided. So if you can't get into that green zone calorie wise, dude, you got to add something. But that does not mean overshoot it. Eat 6,000 calories a day of like protein shakes and candy. All you're going to do is get yourself fat as fuck, which I know I'm putting that very bluntly, but I've seen it. I see it all too many times. Like, younger kind of guy, it's like, all right, I'm going to start bulking. And I'm kind of part of the problem here because I keep hyping up like the 200 pounder kind of thing. But I mean 200 pounder lean. It's not necessarily a good thing. And I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to catch myself doing it to get to a point of a level of bulkiness where I've got like 50 pounds or more of body fat to deal with. You're totally screwing yourself because you know how long that's going to take you to get off? And that's not to, I'm not dogging anybody who already has that and they're on kind of a fat loss style journey. But if somebody was already at a baseline level of leanness, 12, 15%, to put yourself up at 40 just for the sake of saying like, dude, I'm 240, like that really, I mean, do whatever you want. I'm not your dad, but I never look at that and think, man, this guy knows exactly what he's doing to reach his goals. So, I mean, you got to look at it at a case by case basis. But all that is to say, if you're not gaining weight, you need to eat more food. And if you're not losing weight, all these same things apply. Just flip them around, right? So this green zone calorie wise of gaining weight, getting bigger, getting stronger, making the results that you want. There's two of them, right? There's one up here in the surplus, and then there's one down here in the deficit. So if you're trying to lean down, same thing. If your calorie deficit to gain or to lose 1 pound of fat a week, if that's 2,000 calories, if that's 1,800 calories, if that's 2,500 calories, if you're kind of a bigger dude, then as long as you hit that calorie number, dude, your food choices don't even fucking matter. Honestly, I think you're much more variable with the foods that you can get away with eating in a dieting sense than you are in a bulking sense. Because for me, I mean, you got to think I've had the most experience out of at least a few characters of trying to bulk up on just pure like sweets and everything else. It just doesn't work. At least not for that long. Like I can make some quick, like 2, maybe like 3 month gains historically, but then I just hit a wall where I'm like, my system's so kind of, I don't even want to say stressed, but it's like it's reached a point where I just can't continue down that path of food intake. Whereas dieting wise, I mean, you could do it. The issue is it's got its own set of problems because if you eat sweets when you're trying to diet down, that's just going to fucking make you even hungrier afterwards because your blood sugar is going to be going bananas. So when you're dieting down, even though, I mean, you could get away with 1,600 calories of like a pack of Krispy Kreme, half a pound of steak every meal, plus whatever, if that all added up to 1,600 calories, but that's not feasible. Nobody's going to do that because it's just not filling. So that's where your diet should be full of foods which are low density calories, actually going to fill you up, right? Get into like some keto bread or some protein pancakes and random shit like that. But it's kind of the flip side of both sides of the coins. If you're trying to bulk up, I'm trying to eat foods which I can get down reasonably quick and are pretty calorie dense. I mean, fucking potatoes, that's straight to the source carbs wise. Same thing with like pastas and rice and oatmeal and cream of wheat. And then the protein's always going to be as dense as it gets as long as you're actually eating like a dedicated protein source. But if I'm bulking, I'll eat kind of quicker, simpler meals like this. If I'm dieting down, that's where I'm going to be a bit more fancy with it. That's where you're going to catch me with like meal prepping myself 10 turkey sandwiches with keto bread, weighing out every gram of everything and like tons of lettuce, tons of, just mustard, low fat mayonnaise, everything else just to make it have mass without added calories. And then, if I have two of those, dude, it's going to fucking fill me up. But it's only, costing me 500 calories for the day, which a 500 calorie meal that actually makes you like insanely full dieting wise, if you know what I'm talking about there, that's legit. That's nothing to scoff at. But that's enough of my little dieting rants. I need to yeah, don't I'm probably not going to do it tomorrow, but try to remind me in the comments every so often if you remember this, that I need to make like not a guide to dieting, but more like kind of a cohesive video, and maybe make some fucking well, now I'm starting to sound crazy, make some slideshows, but actually kind of get into at least what I think my thought process is dieting wise. Now there's a lot of different angles to that, so maybe I'll wait a little bit longer until I've got a bit of a firmer grasp of everything else, because don't forget, man, I'm trying to improve everything all the time. I want my training to be better over the next however many months. I want to kind of dial in the food choices that I'm making such that I can such that I can continue this weight gain path that I'm on right now. Because so far, these 2.5 months have gone pretty much perfectly. This is about as much weight as I would expect to gain. I mean, it's so 20. Let's actually just do some math here. So let's see. So today's going to be 79, I think. So 79 days divided by 7. So 11 weeks pretty much. We're up from 240 was the beginning weight. Now at just about, well, tomorrow morning is probably going to be 266. Let's just say 265 so that's going to be 25 pounds. So 25, yeah. I mean, 2.25 pounds a week. That's pretty much exactly what I'm aiming for. If I was eating more than, if I was gaining any more weight than that, I'd probably just gonna be getting a little bit softer to the point where it's I'm getting more fat than muscle, and any less, I could probably have some more room to improve. But as long as I maintain this weight gain projection, then dude, I am fucking all for it, right? Don't fix it if it's not broken. But if I run into any hurdle along the way, like let's say in 2 months, somehow my weight is gonna fucking completely stagnate for 2 weeks straight, like let's just do a little fast forward here. It's like, fuck, I've been 273 for the last 2 weeks. God damn it, what can I change here? That's going to be a cue for me to think, all right, I better back off. I better look at this whole situation objectively and think, all right, what should I change? What do I have to change here? And if you can't do that, then how can you expect anything to fucking happen? Nothing changes if nothing changes. So as many times as you maybe step on the scale and think to yourself, all right, I'm going to make this shit happen. If every time you come to the kitchen, you're just fucking kind of being mindless about it, it's like, I want some of this. I want some of this. I definitely want some of this. Mom, can you pick up some sheets on the way home? I would love 2 spicy chickens. Not going to work. Not going to fucking work. It's, and I know it sucks, but it's just kind of how it works. There is a really seriously powerful amount of change that you can make to your build, changing nothing about your activity levels, purely your food intake. So it's something to look into. It's definitely something to look into. But I'd be lying if I told you it wasn't a chore. I'm kind of spoiled with all this stuff because I like it. The whole process of it, I get to enjoy it every fucking day. Like when I see comments like, oh, Sam, how can I be motivated to go to the gym? It's like, it just feels like such a fucking chore, man. It's, I might say something. It's like, just remember how bad you want it, or like, whatever, just some kind of motivational something. But it's like, sometimes I can't even relate to it because it's like, dude, I'm fucking excited for my chest day tomorrow. I'm excited for my back day the day after that. And I'm extra fucking excited for my arm day the day after that. And then it's just like, I'll be, like, I'm sitting here thinking like, oh man, I wonder what I'm going to look like in 4 years or 5 years or however many fucking years, it's like, I feel like I've reached a reasonable point of contentness with the fact that this is a long-term kind of situation. And I just want to make sure that, on a day-by-day basis, I can do what it takes to get me there. And as long as I can look back, it's like, oh crap, I just gained 25 pounds in like just a little over 2 weeks, or over 2 months. Damn straight. Yeah. Well, let's keep this train moving. So if you can look back at past progress and you can tell, like, all right, you may as well be a fucking stockbroker of your gains. It's like, okay, we're on an upward trend. Let's keep this bull run going. that might be a little bit of a sting to any NVIDIA holders out there, but you know, what are you gonna do, right? That's the risk. But you know, just somehow try to get excited about it. That's all I can say there. But this is gonna take me a minute to get down. I'm gonna keep watching some Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, I remember the character now. Yusuke and everybody else. That's kind of fun. Just a nice kind of high school anime. That's when I feel like I watched so many all at once. I almost spoiled myself because like I've pretty much watched all the S-class shows to the point where when I see what's it called, like Kyojin? When I see like new shows now, it's like that just looks stupid. Any Boruto fans in here? If you are, try to make a Boruto case because I I don't get it, man. But let's actually do a calorie check. I didn't even do that earlier. So this puts me at 220 grams of protein, 150 grams of fat, and 552 grams of carbs. So this isn't technically the last meal, but I know what the last one is, so it's kind of just a moot point. But last meal is going to be a little kind of a bottled sort of protein shake. The powder has kind of been fucking me. It's like, just get a shaker bottle dirty. It's like I'd rather get like a 12-pack of some kind of protein shake I like and just have it already pre-blended for you. No clumps, no mess, no nothing. But one of those plus a bagel, that'll put me in a perfectly flat 5,000. Then I can go to bed and have myself some bulking dreams. But yeah, train to 280. Train to 280 has not slowed down one bit. So let's just get comfortable. We got another 4 months. So I'll see you tomorrow for chest.